But at the state level, lawmakers are already planning their next moves, and they should, based on what we're hearing. Pam Bondi, Attorney General for the state of Florida, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You led the charge on this in a legal sense.
Yes.
What did you think yesterday?
Well, Florida and 25 other states and National Federation of Independent Business, and we were extremely disappointed, obviously, and we were incredibly shocked by the ruling. We always thought, of course, the main point at issue was whether the federal government could force us to do this under the Commerce Clause. We never felt that the taxing power was going to be an issue, since
it seemed like a bit of a wild card.
Yeah, you think?
Especially when the Chief Justice was a party to that.
It did.
Did you see that coming from any direction?
No direction. I really don't think any analyst in the country saw it coming from that direction. Not at all. And, you know, it's a shame. It was really sobering because we learn now that our system of government only works when our leaders are honest with us. And we've had a president who's been out there saying this is not a tax, this is not a tax. And this now is what, more than a $4 billion tax on the people. And so that's all this was, a tax, according to the United States Supreme Court. Yet our president has been saying to the contrary continuously. We were shocked.
You deal with law, but now your state faces an issue where you have to set up these exchanges. And a lot of states are behind the eight ball, from what I understand. Your Republican Governor Rick Scott and others, they perhaps are not as advanced in setting up these exchanges as some other states might. And it's my reading of the law that if you do not set up these exchanges, Washington's going to do it for you.
Well, and that's what we're going to make that decision. We're working with the Senate President, the Speaker of the House, Will Weatherford, and with Governor Scott. And I'm proud of Governor Scott for not taking money and getting wrapped up in something that we firmly still believe is unconstitutional.
The statute reads that Kathleen Sebelius, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, shall, quote, establish and operate the exchanges for the states.
Isn't that frightening? Right. Pretty frightening, huh? Federal government overreach at its best. It really is.
There is also a line in here from a New York Times article that the expansion of Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act, the ACA, could increase the state's tab to $1.1 billion by the year 2017. How do you deal with that?
Well, we are very pleased that the Medicaid coercion, we've won on that, in that respect, the Medicaid coercion, that they cannot force us to continue on with this or take away all of our Medicaid funding. So that was very important, and that was a win for us. That was a very important win for us.
Which is even more confusing because you don't know what the states are going to do if you're not compelled to act.
Bill, the whole opinion's confusing, let me tell you, and it's left so many unanswered questions. But I can tell you, in Florida, we want affordable health care, we want accessible health care, and we want to do what's best for the citizens of our state.
One more thing. This came out about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. This is a Fox News poll where we asked people about the federal government forcing Americans to buy health insurance. We found 60% believe it's a violation of their individual rights. What's that tell you?
Well, it tells me that they feel what we feel, that it's unconstitutional. We still believe it's unconstitutional. It is such an overreach by the federal government. You know, we have a federalist society, and our founding fathers firmly believed that states should have the right to do what we feel is best for our individual state. And that's the biggest fear of this opinion. It's fraught with peril.
You have been at the forefront since the very beginning. I expect you will not shrink away from this. We'll see how the politics deals with this now over the next 120 days. Pam Bondi, thank you.
Thank you.
The Attorney General in the state of Florida.
Thank
nice
you.
to see you here in New York.
Good to see you.
You bet.